16. All right.
All right.
How you doing, bro?
I'm chilling.
All right, cool. Welcome to another episode of the DIMES and CHOW podcast, I'm going to say today. Because you were talking about some cool stuff to me the other day about gaming. And both of us, I mean, gaming has been a huge passion of ours, I would say, since we were kids. You know, we just grew up on it. Grew up all the, big-time games from early CODs to GTA even, and we saw it progress throughout the years.
We've lived through like four console generations or something like that.
Yeah. What was your first console?
Well, the first one that I actually owned was a PS2, but the first one my family had was either an N64 or an NES. It was one of those two. It's also like I'm going like 20 years back. But
Me, it was probably the GameCube, I think. And then I got PSP, which was cool. But yeah, I think what we were going to talk about is basically how gaming has changed in a negative way, honestly. And back in the day, dude, I just feel like games were, more complete, more entertaining.
That was a great point. I mean, I've said this so many times. It's one of the few businesses in the world where I can give you an unfinished product and charge you full price for it and then be like, oh, just, I'm going to fix it with time. And then I progressively fix it like slowly throughout 3 months, and then it just turns to something where 3 months down the line, oh, the game is actually complete and it semi-ly works.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I'll never forget the first time I bought Modern Warfare 2. That was probably the first real gaming experience I had as a kid.
I was one of those. We were one of them 12-year-olds that were getting yelled at in those lobbies, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Something where you'd be scared to talk. You'd be like, lower your voice a little bit and be like, hey, don't talk to me like that.
No facts. No, but dude, those games were so fun. I think if you look now, like some people might say, oh, they were buggy. They weren't they were hackable, like stuff like that. But the thing about those games was that they were memorable. They just had memory. Like you make memories playing those games.
They were fun. When's the last time, for instance, one of the things that I always look back to and I say, I remember waking up on a Saturday morning, and this is probably more so pertaining to COD rather than other games, but when it comes to COD, I remember waking up on a Saturday morning and playing the game for like 6 to 8 hours. I remember there would be games within a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember you'd be on a map,
yeah.
and if you if you heard the enemy had a Harrier in the sky and it killed you, you switched to your cold-blooded class to shoot down the Harrier, and then it became a game of, okay, let me look at the kill feed. Okay, the guy's name is Pussy Pounder 69 or something.
And you can get away with it.
And you'd be like, yeah, you'd be able to be like, well, yeah, you'd also could get away with a gamer tag like that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It would be something where it would be like, okay, I gotta find this guy. This guy is obviously trying for a nuke, and I gotta stop him. I'm trying to play the game. There would be so many games within the games, and a lot of the young bucks will be like, oh, well, the game was broken and everything, blah blah blah. That's what made the game fun.
It really did.
It was a weird way of balancing where just everything was so good, but
specifically with COD, yeah. I think the last game, besides Elden Ring, which we'll talk about, I think the last game that I personally felt that same experience that I had with Modern Warfare 2 was Fortnite, actually.
I agree.
Believe it or not. And the thing, it honestly wasn't because it was new, even though it was. Like, the idea of Battle Royale was new. It was because of the memories that you just made playing that game.
It was just, everybody was playing. It was one of those games where everybody was playing it. It was easy for everyone to just pick up and play. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to pick it up in a day and be an absolute god at it. But it was something where, it was just fun.
Yeah, people want to get good at it, too, because it was new as well. So, same with COD as well. When it came out, people want to get good at it. Just that whole first-person shooter genre, when it came out on consoles, it just was so popular.
Yeah. I also think another big thing is, I've kind of said this as, the Elden Ring effect, and I think people are seeing it now where they're saying to themselves, oh, Elden Ring is probably, for...
the most complete game recently.
Well, Yes, that's the point I'm making. But it's also something where like I want to be clear here. I'm at the fire giant of Elden Ring, and it's not that I can't beat the fire giant. It's just more of I don't want to say I don't have the drive to play the game, but I literally played Bloodborne, Sekiro, Dark Souls 3, and then Elden Ring back to back to back to back of each other. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to take a break from the Souls games. Like, I need just something a little bit different. These games they're great. They're masterpieces, master classes of games, but they can be a lot.
Well, and also, you're like the only person I know that's played all those games, too. So, I mean, that's pretty
Bloodborne is easily in my top 5.
I might play it.
I might get a Bloodborne tattoo. It's that deep, bro.
Really?
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I might play it. I love multiplayer games, though.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Because I love competitive games.
Yeah.
So Elden Ring was fun, though, because it was the first, like, boss battle game I played that I think was just, like mind-blowing. Like, better than what I anticipated. Mm-hmm. So when it came out, I had to play it.
But that effect with Elden Ring, and it's something that, like, I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, where it's something where, that is the first game in a long time. I can't remember the last game. I can't remember, a lot of, like, the nitty-gritty stuff. But in my own experience, Elden Ring is the first game in a long time that's a new game that not only was complete at launch, it had some bugs, but every game is going to have bugs. Even back in the day when the new COD would come out, for a fact, if you were playing it day one, the servers were going to be shite.
Yeah, true.
But, besides the point, it was something where you felt the love in the game. I've said this to you multiple times. Video games now are corporatized.
100%.
Majority of the people that are making the games, like the big, the Activisions, the EAs, the majority of the bigger producers of these games, they're not looking at these games and saying, oh, we want this to be a passion project. No, they're looking at it and saying, oh, how much money can we make from this?
And that's just because there's people who love the game and want to make something out of the game that they're making, being told by, corporate heads and just their managers of what to do.
Exactly.
And they don't have much say in how they want to make the game. It's more about profits at the end of the day, especially with skins and stuff.
Sucks.
And it does.
That sucks.
And I want to bring up campaigns in COD too. We forgot to talk about that. Campaigns used to be the bread and butter of COD.
We should save that and just do a whole deep dive on Call of Duty.
Okay, yeah, we could do that.
Because I definitely think COD is a topic we could talk about forever, considering we've been playing the fucking series for well over 10 years. I mean, I don't know what the first COD you ever played was, but the first
COD.
COD.
It was Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mine was World War II or World at War, not World War II.
Actually, no. Now I think about it, I might have had like a real old COD. Because
I remember playing Nazi Zombies, and I remember getting to round 7 and being like, "Wow, I'm pretty good at this game."
Yeah,
yeah. So
dude,
that's why.
Yeah, we'll talk about COD in our podcast.
But, talking about gaming when we were younger, opposed to gaming now.
Yeah.
For me, it's just something where, and I have never had this issue up until recently, probably within the last year or two.
Sure.
Now, ever since the PlayStation 5 came out and the Xbox, whatever the hell, video games prices have gone up. Where if you want a new premium release, it's going to be $70. Yep. And I don't know what the taxes were, whatever, but for us, it's $75 for a new game.
It is, yeah.
I find it hard to justify the price tag now. I've never had that issue. There used to be days where I'd be like, oh, I'd throw $60 at this game just to try it. Now it's something where there are new releases, new premium releases. I don't want to pre-order them. I don't want to go out and get them day one because
you don't trust the product, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't find it something where I'm sitting there saying to myself, I see myself pouring time into it. It's, am I going to pour time into this? I'm not spending close to $100 or however, $75 just for it to be something where in 3 days I'm like, yeah, I'm good on this.
Yeah. I mean, do you play any sports games anymore?
I haven't played sports games in forever. Those are the biggest cash grabs every year.
Yeah, they used to be good, though. Like, I still play FIFA.
Yeah.
And I love
FIFA's
FIFA.
probably the only really good one there.
It's probably the most popular, too. Yeah. But it's definitely, the community that plays that game, knows the game is shit. We all know the game is shit. But we still play it because we like the sport. That's the difference. And Ultimate Team is so big. That changed everything in sports games, Ultimate Team in general. Yeah,
I mean, every game now incorporates Ultimate Team.
Yeah, and that's the only game that people play. A lot of people like franchise mode, especially in Madden, but they haven't improved it. In fact, they probably have made it worse. They've taken things out of it from the older games. So it's
I've said
pointless.
it so many times. These people that make sports games, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about sports games.
Sure.
It's just the people that make sports games, I could never understand why they don't just have one game, update it for like a 2 or 3 year period, and then drop a new game.
Yeah.
There's premium, maybe not no offense, but we should not be getting new games from the same series every year. Give it like a year every other year.
Yeah,
you know,
it's the only way they'll make the money though. If they release new games, that's the thing. They'll make the money on top of the money.
Strategy because you can't make good games anymore in a 9-month period.
Yeah, I know you can't.
You can't.
So
I mean, Call of Duty proves it every single year. But you know what? Call of Duty's always in the top 10 because of the fact that people will buy it just because it's a Call of Duty. But besides the point,
sure.
I wanted to say, you know how a lot of people say less is more.
Yeah.
And it's something where in gaming, less can be more. But when it comes to games, it's just something where if you're going to have less in your game and add it to time, I expect the game to be good enough where you don't need to fix it is not the right word, but something where a great example is, I don't want to bring up an old game, but I'm blanking on an example, but you can have a very simplistic game and have it be successful because of how simplistic it is. Problem is that game needs to work. You need to be able to say, like, for instance, if you've ever asked yourself this question, was this play tested? They don't care.
Yeah,
they don't care.
True. So true.
Like, Elden Ring, and I'm probably gonna suck this game dry today just because it's probably the best game we've gotten in 5 years
since Fortnite came out. Like, and that's between all games, not just multiplayer, or campaign games. Like that's between all games.
I wish Elden Ring would set a precedent of what games should be. I'm at a point in my life.
Takes a long time to make
I'm at a
like
point in my life where I would rather you tell me straight up, "Hey, we're gonna make a good game. We just need time." That's it.
Man, if COD said that, people would buy into it instantly.
Yeah, but
they would buy into it. Yeah. Another game that I really like right now that I play a lot is Valorant, which I know I've talked to you about a ton. The reason I love that game is because of the competitive aspect of it. The competitive aspect, the teamwork aspect, the skill aspect in general. But it's a good game, and that's a good multiplayer game. So I know you don't play Valorant, but I would put that game in terms of multiplayer games like just under Fortnite.
It's also a very I'm not gonna say it's a niche game, but it's not a very casual.
No, it's not casual. It's competitive only.
Yeah,
I guess it's in its own territory.
I mean, your game that you're playing is a lot better than the game I'm playing right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm still on Apex.
Yeah.
Bro.
No.
And the best part is, I say to myself all the time, I really hate this game. Like, I genuinely hate this game. But the fact that I always come back to it
it's because there's nothing out there, right?
No, not that there's nothing out there, but there's no game that brings me that same, like, I call it the oomph, you know? Yeah. Like that oomph when, like, you're playing a game and you're like,
yeah.
You know? Like, makes you where, like, you just smelled like a fart or some shit and you're just like,
Yeah.
You know?
I love that shit
That's what I'm saying. There's no games that, like, do that for me anymore.
Yeah, no,
and a lot of people feel some type of way, and I feel some type of way about Apex. By the way, I fucking hated how I can load up a match of pubs and have two randoms that play with their feet, but I'm going up against the number 1, 2, and 3 predator in the world that is 3 stacking.
Matchmaking's so bad in every game.
That's also something where it shows a lack of casuals. The only people that are going to be left on the game. It's the same reason why every single time a Call of Duty, quote unquote, dies, the only people that are left are the people that are level 4 and 500 that forget what color grass is.
Yeah, true.
You can smell them through your headset, bro.
Yup.
Yeah,
that's
it's
so true.
It's those kinds of players. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to dump 12 hours a day into a video game, by all means, do you.
Yeah.
But it just gets to a point where it's like, I don't want to have to sweat my nuts off. I don't want to have a fucking, like, the expression I use is an ass print on my chair from sweating in the game. And I'm not saying, like, physical sweat. I'm not saying that. But, like, I don't want to have to sweat in every single game. And that's also something where it's also where video games are so, like, everybody wants to be the best at them. Everyone wants to make a TikTok about them. Hell, I'm one of those people. I have a TikTok, but mine's just more of, like, well, obviously we have a TikTok, but my, like, gaming TikTok is just more of, like, I want to do funny things. I want to do highlights. I don't want to do I don't want to do stuff where I'm like, I just took out the number 3 pred, and this is what he had to say about it. Bro, who the fuck cares who you kill in the game?
Yeah. So now I'm gonna bring up the point I brought up to you like a little bit ago before the podcast. How YouTube, when it first came out, oh my god, everyone was obsessed.
We're really gonna be dating ourselves here. Somebody's gonna come in and just be like, these old heads don't even know, bro.
Okay. Let me rephrase.
Then again, we're in our mid-20s.
So. We are in our mid-20s, but okay, I would say this became more of a thing. Like probably like 6 to 8 years after YouTube came out, like where gaming started to become more than just a game. It became I
would say it was Modern
entertainment.
Warfare 2.
Yeah, it was Modern Warfare 2. That's true. That's where all the big time, not streamers but content creators
the trick shots were huge, montages.
But the way for me at least as a kid, I remember making a video and having the camera at the TV and recording.
Wait, so you had a camera? You had a camera right in front of your TV?
But think about that, dude.
Mom, get the camera! Get the camera! I gotta play the game.
But that's how it was.
Yeah, it was.
Think about it. So then now they have capture cards and shit.
Yeah.
They didn't the regular kid's not gonna have a capture card. Also, not even know what it is at that point. Yeah, so if you're watching all these content creators make these YouTube videos about Modern Warfare 2, you want to get involved as well. Like this is sick. So get the camera, mom. Like let's get this fucking. Let's get this clip.
Game.
Yeah,
I got last kill.
But what was a big thing too? Like gun reviews. Like, I don't know why that was a big thing with COD.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Back before the setup, this is the best class setup.
Exactly, class setups.
It was like people would break down the guns. They'd be like, this gun is good at medium to long range. That's what it was.
Dude, exactly what it was.
It wasn't something where it was like, you need to put the Merc foregrip and the, extended assassin pad on your sniper to make it good and use this sight because it has more aim assist. No, bro. It was like, hey, do you want to use the FAMAS because it's a 3-round burst, but it's not good up close? Or do you want to use the UMP-45 because of the fact that it's one of the best guns in the fucking game?
Exactly.
That's what it was. It wasn't like, oh, okay, this one's ADS time is 0.06 milliseconds, and this one's 0.05.
Yep.
No, but this one you can shoot faster in than this one.
You got it. No, literally. So, but those are good memories, man. I miss that stuff. I hope in the future, people who are our age right now get into the video game industry, remember how games used to be, and somehow incorporate that into the future gaming.
Just need more passion projects, It'll
happen.
You need moments. You need moments where and I think I said this to you when we were talking about this topic. I said, there are moments within a game where you can say, wow, this scenery looks amazing. This looks great. This looks everything. But there are moments in the game where you can see the love that the developers had. And it's not love of things that they're going to brag about on Twitter and let everybody know about. It's little things. It's
making something that they'll play.
Exactly.
That they'll genuinely enjoy.
Making something where it's kind of like the tip of the hat to the player, you know?
Literally, yeah.
Where you get rewarded. For instance, do you remember the We're going to talk about Modern Warfare 2 a lot. Do you remember the Modern Warfare 2, the favela mission, where you're running through the thing and there's an Easter egg where if you hug the left of the thing, and I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this, or I'm pretty sure you have too, but it's the one where the granny is there and the doorway and everything and just closes the door.
Was that even real though?
Yes, it was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No way.
It's in the remaster.
Holy shit.
I purposely hugged the left side and was like, if my memory serves me correctly, it should be right over here.
No way, dude. I thought that shit was fake this whole time.
No, it's real.
Because I remember seeing the videos. I
saw it in the remaster.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's just something
I
where
do it in the remaster.
You see the love, Yeah. And Elden Ring shows it the best. I was really hoping that Elden Ring would set a precedent and make it to where, people don't want to pump out these dog shit games and be like, let's make money. You have to understand, if you make a good game and a game that people enjoy and you put love into it, your game will be successful. Look at Elden Ring. Look at any of the Fromsoft games. By the way, if any of our viewers haven't played a Fromsoft game, highly recommend. But do not start with Sekiro. I can tell you from experience, do not start with Sekiro. But these games, there are games that were made in 2011 that are better than most games we're getting now. Not graphically.
It's true, though.
Not graphically, maybe not story-wise, but definitely actual game mechanics and things that you can do within the game that benefit you later on in the game. there's no other thing.
Yeah.
By the way, if we're going to talk about Elden Ring most of this time, from my experience, and I don't know how you feel about this, but Elden Ring is a very good game, and it deserved Game of the Year.
Yeah.
120%.
Yeah.
I love God of War. God of War is one of my favorite games, and I will play every God of War game just because it has the words God of War in it.
Yeah.
But it definitely deserved the Game of the Year title last year. But I think Dark Souls 3 has better bosses.
See, I haven't played it, so I'm just taking your word for it. You know, I believe you.
One of our boys actually just played it, and I don't know if he's. I've tried talking to him about it, and he tells me like, you know, about the bosses and everything. But you need to let it soak for a little bit.
I think the reason people would prefer Elden Ring is just because of the open world aspect, purely. Yeah. Like
personally, I'm a fan of a more of the linear thing, because if you have the open world, like this was my problem with Elden Ring. I would go do whatever and blah blah blah, and then I'd be like, all right, I need to go get this item. Go get that item up. It's behind a boss. I destroy the boss. You know, like absolutely murder it to the point where I was like, wow, I'm grossly over-leveled for this. And that's not a problem. Don't get me wrong. It's not an issue. But it's something where that stuff kind of happens. And I prefer the more linear thing where, you know, I wouldn't even necessarily say Sekiro did this. Because Sekiro, you can, at one point of the game, just go wherever you want to go and just skip bosses. And I'm not saying, like, skip main story bosses. But at one point, you have the opportunity to fight 3 bosses. Realistically, you need to fight 2 of those 3 bosses in order to progress the game.
Yeah, well, that's a great point though about the linear progress of the game.
Yeah,
I like that though. Like that's so true. In Elden Ring, like you could end up fighting a boss and you're just like, well, I'm not leveled up high enough for this guy, or you could be like, well, that was easy as fuck.
Like Radon, for me. Radon. I first tried Radon. I first tried him to the point where like I have a clip on my PlayStation. I beat him in like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, you were probably level fucking.
Then again,
or
no, I wasn't.
You weren't.
I was like level like 80 or 85.
Oh, that's.
But it's also something where he's been nerfed, he's been touched up, he's been whatever, and the fact that you can like summon like a mini army doesn't help either.
Oh yeah, the summons too. I mean, Elden Ring is great though for that aspect. Is that however difficult you want to make these bosses,
you can.
It's up to you, because you could decide to either level up, make it easier, level up your weapons, make it easier, or you could, you go be butt naked and use a fucking like mallet or something.
You could be let me solo her real quick.
Yeah, the caveman stick, like literally.
Walk around with a giant club and just be like, "What up,
club."
man?
I couldn't think of it, but yeah, exactly.
It's just something where, by the way, anyone that complains that Elden Ring is too hard of a game has not played the game long enough. Because, bro, there are elements of this game that are stupidly... I'm not going to sit here and tell you with a straight face Dark Souls 3 is harder than Elden Ring. I'm not. Are there bosses that are up there? Of course. But Elden Ring has elements to it that makes the game easier. Like, I've openly said, if you're going to start with a Fromsoft game, you should play Elden Ring because it's the most new, or it's the newest one, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, the quality of life is different. No. But what I am going to tell you is there's Mimic Tier, Rivers of Blood, there's buffs, there's debuffs, there's weapons that are absolutely insane. There's the Ash of War system is what gets me. You know, especially for like somber weapons. All of them have unique ones, which is great to have.
Yeah, I love that.
But no, there's no but. They're just they're really good.
Cool.
But Bloodborne, in my opinion, I mean, let me tell you something. If you're ever bored out of your mind and you got like an hour to kill, look up Bloodborne's story. Bloodborne has one of the best stories I've ever seen in my life. But it's also one of those games where, like, for instance, I remember I beat the game. I beat the final boss. Spoiler, his name is Guillermin. I beat Guillermin. And I remember saying to my boy who beat it like 2 or 3 days prior to me, and I said, bro, do you have any idea what the fuck is going on in this game?
Yeah.
And he was like, not a clue.
Yeah.
I was like, the only thing I could
That's
take
how
from
Elden Ring is.
Yeah, the only thing I could take from it is the healing church is bad, avoid blood, and that's it.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
Hey, both games are great, man. And I really hope that there's better games to come, dude. I really do.
I hope so, too. It hurts me, like, you know, I talk to my younger cousin who's not significantly younger than me, but
Yeah.
you know, when I talk to him and I ask him like, you know, what's your favorite game? You know, like what do you play? And he goes, oh, well, you know, I'm just kind of playing sports games. I was like, I remember back in the days when it was like, the question wasn't, oh, what am I going to play? The question was, oh, which game am I going to play?
Yeah. True.
It was never,
It's not like that
it was something
anymore.
where you had to decide between 3 of them and then like flip a coin and then sudden death, and it's depressing, man.
It is.
It really is.
I know. I think the future's bright though. I think there's people. I think this opinion that we have about video games is pretty unanimous across the whole gaming community.
I also think it's because like our age group, like growing up, like as you get older, obviously some of these games aren't made for you anymore. Like we're not the target demographic for a lot of the.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah,
but
we're not.
It's the younger kids.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, it sucks, but
It is what it is. That's how we're getting older too. So, got to keep that in mind.
yeah, we're gonna become old heads.
Yeah, we're
Sooner or
still
later,
young.
I'm gonna be doing the back in my day voice all the time.
Yeah, imagine.
Like,
Well, what do you want to do? Wrap it up. I think we went past time.
Oh, well, that was perfect. Let's just wrap it up with the outro.
Yeah, we could wrap it up. We might have like a few minutes, but let's wrap it up. Fuck it. I think we had a good talk.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, my peoples. Besides me sitting here and saying yeah for the past 5 minutes. It's been real. This has been the Chow and Dimes podcast. Appreciate you for coming back with us. Yeah, man. I mean, it's
more
been real.
episodes like this to come for sure. So
Definitely.
thank you guys, and we'll
And remember,
see you later.
today we gaming.
We gaming. Yes, sir. All right.